Welcome to this breakdown of verticality in level design. Instead of thinking about height as decoration, we'll treat it as a tool that shapes how players read space, make decisions, and move through a level. The big idea is simple. Vertical space should create meaning, not just extra geometry. Verticality only matters when it changes how a player behaves. A tall space by itself is not enough. What makes it useful is when height creates different sightlines, alters risk, or opens up new tactical choices. In other words, the level becomes vertical when elevation affects flow. Three-dimensional space can be hard for players to navigate because it can break orientation. Without a clear horizon, direction becomes less obvious, and when corners hide important information, the space feels harder to understand. Good vertical design solves both problems by keeping the player oriented while still creating uncertainty. One of the key design rules is to chunk height into a few clear floor planes. Instead of scattering tiny elevation changes everywhere, it is better to merge them into larger, readable steps. That way, players can build a mental map of the space instead of feeling lost in noise. In combat spaces, verticality creates pressure from multiple directions. High ground can provide strong sightlines. Flanking routes can create surprise, and the center of the space becomes a tactical problem to solve. This turns a flat fight into a layered encounter where position matters as much as aim. Verticality also gives players meaningful traversal choices. A destination can be reached in more than one way, and each route can carry a different cost, risk, or advantage. That sense of agency is what makes elevation feel designed, because the player is choosing a path rather than just following one. Height becomes especially interesting when it works with player mechanics. If climbing, gliding, grappling, or other systems interact with the space, then elevation itself becomes part of the puzzle. The climb is no longer just movement. It becomes a test of skill and problem solving. Vertical spaces can also tell stories before the player even arrives. A distant landmark, a visible tower, or a dramatic structure in the background gives the player a goal to move toward. This kind of foreshadowing turns space into a narrative path and makes the destination feel earned. When using elevation in combat, balance is essential. High ground should offer information or advantage, but not complete safety. Mid-ground can support repositioning, while low ground can provide cover or stealth. The best spaces give each layer a purpose, so no single position dominates too much. Vertical design also shapes emotion. Rising upward often feels like effort, reward, or even revelation, while descending can suggest danger, decay, or subversion. By controlling this emotional pitch, designers can make the same journey feel sacred at the top and threatening below. Strong levels usually rely on a hierarchy of landmarks. A large landmark helps orient the player across the whole world. A mid-scale landmark anchors them in a district, and a small landmark helps with moment-to-moment navigation. When all three work together, the player rarely feels truly lost. Lighting and breadcrumbs are important because players do not naturally look up unless something pulls their attention. Bright contrast, movement, and color can guide the eye toward the Z-axis and encourage exploration of higher spaces. These cues make vertical routes feel discoverable instead of hidden. A common mistake is stacking more floors without adding meaning, or building long corridors that only pretend to offer depth. More layers do not automatically create better verticality. If the player cannot understand the structure or make interesting choices, the space still feels flat. A better workflow is to start with the side view first. That forces you to define floor planes, relationships, and transitions before you worry about top-down layout. Designing from the side helps prevent corridor-heavy spaces and keeps the vertical structure clear from the beginning. In the end, a good vertical level passes a simple test. It stays readable, it gives height a real function, and it guides the player's eye upward. If those three things are working together, the space feels deliberate, tactical, and memorable. Thank you for watching. If you have liked the video, don't forget to like and subs.